What's up? I'm Conor Maynard, and you're listening to ICRT FM 100.
What's up? I'm Joey, ladies and gents. Today we have an artist who is coming to Asia. In fact, he's coming to Taiwan very soon, but he's currently in Asia and he's doing a concert tour, and I'm sure you know him. His name is Conor Maynard. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Woo, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I am so well. It's so good to have you here. Your songs have been infectious over the last few years for us, especially here in Asia. And currently you are visiting cities such as Manila, Singapore, and of course Taipei. So how's your Asia leg going so far?
Good, bro. I'm currently in Singapore right now. Obviously heading to Taipei tomorrow, which is very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to getting there. I'm basically going to a bunch of cities I've never been to before, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah.
You've been in the game for about a decade. You've been a household name, but a lot of Asian listeners may have just recently learned about you when you covered Shaun's Way Back Home, and you're soon to go to Seoul, Korea. Is that your first time?
That's my first time there as well. That's my first time.
That's going to be exciting.
So I'm hoping I get to meet Shaun while I'm out there.
Oh, amazing, amazing! I hope you guys get to share the same stage when you do go there.
Definitely, that'll be a lot of fun.
Good. So covers is sort of your big thing when you first got started in music.
Yeah.
And in fact, you released a whole album called Covers. That was your sophomore album.
Yeah.
And I think people appreciate your cover videos because you do them slightly differently. So what's the Conor Maynard X factor when you do covers?
Well, realistically, like the whole covers thing is how I initially started. Obviously, when I think I was about 15, 16 when I first started posting covers on YouTube, and the original idea was just to kind of have a place for my like friends and family to watch the videos, because obviously back then it's kind of very slow internet, so sending an MP3 or something to each person like one by one would take hours. So I was like, if I just upload it to one place, everyone can go there and watch it. And I started doing that, and then obviously people started watching them and enjoying them. And then after time, I think when I was obviously still doing covers to kind of promote like whether it's original music or anything that I was doing, I kind of didn't want to make it so that it's like, oh yeah, let me just make it sound exactly like the original song. I wanted to kind of give people a reason to want to listen to my version multiple times. I wanted them to kind of feel like they were listening to a completely different song,
yeah,
just with that kind of familiar factor of, you know, of it being a cover.
Yeah.
So I just started to try and switch them as much. I would purposely choose songs that sounded nothing like the music I would make to kind of make it easier for myself to kind of switch them back to something that I would do. So I would typically pick like kind of, whether it be like Drake songs or like, you know, kind of like rap based songs, or kind of like songs with a kind of really, I don't know, just not a very kind of acoustic piano-y sound,
yeah,
and then just kind of switch it kind of into my own style. So I kind of just like doing it that way. So yeah.
Like you said, you sort of lived through the age of Facebook, but you also have very good following of Instagram and TikTok. How do you catch up with all of these different social media platforms, and are you still catching up with them?
Well, honestly, yeah, it is quite tough. Like I feel like every time a new kind of platform comes around and kind of takes over, like obviously TikTok in the last few years, it's kind of daunting to think, oh God, like now I've got to work out how this platform works and like what people like to watch and like what can go viral, how to go viral, etc. So it's always kind of daunting. I've been kind of, I guess, lucky so far that I've made each one work, but I'm always kind of counting down the days until one platform comes out and I just don't get it whatsoever. Like, I feel like I'm always fearful of that day coming where I'm like, okay, I'm old, I don't get this anymore, goodbye.
Would that be the moment when, you know, Conor Maynard retires?
Probably. I probably need to start writing for other people at that point. So yeah.
Let's hope that day never comes.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, we do live in the age of short attention spans reserved only for, you know, viral hits, which means that we also live in the days of singles. Now, you do have a whole album set to release in early June. But you dropped singles along the way. So for you, Conor, when do you decide a group of projects is good enough for a whole album? I mean, I'm sure it's daunting to when you make that decision, right?
Yeah, I think it's with this album, it kind of was like, it was pretty unplanned. I mean, the whole album was written about a kind of breakup I went through the end of last year. And I basically started writing a bunch of music with the intention of obviously releasing my favorite one as singles. But it got to the point where quite a few of them, we really liked them, and we thought it'd be a shame to kind of have some of them that we thought were really strong never be heard, because obviously if we're going to release every single one as a single, that would take quite a lot of time if you're kind of doing each one by one.
Yeah.
So we kind of were like, well, maybe let's just release it as a project, as a kind of mini album, EP type thing, just to allow everyone to hear basically the songs that we had made that we thought were really strong and deserved to be heard by people. So it kind of almost was like a happy accident, really. Like it just kind of happened without kind of really setting a plan from like the get-go. And yeah, now it's coming out on June 9th, and I'm excited for people to hear all the songs that I've written about this girl that really hurt me.
Yeah, interestingly enough, like a happy accident, a group of projects and music that came out because of something rather negative, I suppose, in one's life.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like the collateral beauty of the whole thing.
I do want to ask you, why is this project called Plus 11 Hours? Is it what, GMT plus 11?
Yeah, so the person that this album is about lives in Australia, and I lived in London. So the time difference between us was 11 hours.
Oh.
I always used to figure out that's what time it was where she was. I would think my time then plus 11. So I would kind of, that's kind of what it was. That's what I named the album after. So yeah.
But do you realize that, Conor, now I can pinpoint not only where this person was, but also during what day of the year you guys were dating, because with daylight saving, it's plus 10 or plus 11.
Exactly, yeah, because it's sometimes plus 11 and it's like plus 10 for a little bit and then it's plus 9 for another half a year. So yeah, you can work out exactly. Well, to be fair, the plus 11 was for the majority of the time. So, yeah.
You had to average it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so tell us about the third single, Storage. What is this one in particular singing about?
So Storage, I would say, is kind of like the big sad one of the whole project. There's actually another one on the album that's also kind of in the same vein, but I think Storage, when we finished it, was kind of, I loved the message that the song was putting. I think it was I think in that song I was able to pinpoint one of the kind of difficulties of a breakup, like kind of really well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of this feeling of, having all of this, information in your head about this person that you were once kind of, best friends with, and you were like in a relationship with them, and now they're kind of a stranger to you, but you still have all of the information you had. Yeah. You still know every little detail there is to know about them, even though you don't speak to them anymore. And it's kind of a really horrible feeling to kind of know all of that stuff. And as I said, it kind of just feels like it becomes useless information in your head.
Yeah.
That you can't just forget, as much as you want to just kind of remove it from your head, you can't. And I think that was something that I definitely was feeling during the breakup. And I think with Storage, it was able to kind of really, describe that really well. And I was really happy with the kind of lyrical side of that song when it was finished.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the story behind that song. So,
on the personal side, are you someone who tends to dump the storage of memory with this person when you break up? Like, do you delete the photos? Do you delete everything off Instagram and Facebook?
I mean, to be fair, I feel like I'm kind of lucky in the sense that I don't really do too much heavy social media stuff when it comes to relationships anyway. Yeah. Mainly, I don't really know why. I feel like maybe that's probably like a subconscious reason. Is it's that kind of thing where it's there forever and then it's like, oh, I have to go through and delete it all. Like, I don't know. I don't really think I'd want to do that anyway. But no, I'm not really a deleter. I kind of like everything's still there. Everything's still on my phone. I just kind of try and avoid it. Like I try my hardest to not have to scroll back. It's kind of horrible. I think when you've just broken up with someone, it is kind of difficult because there are reasons you have to scroll back to find stuff. And it's like, you have to kind of constantly scroll past them and their name. And like, I always look forward to the day where they're so far back that you would never end up seeing their name or like any pictures of them on your phone ever again, even though it's technically still on there. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I agree with you because, dating someone that didn't come to fruition, as in you didn't walk down the aisle together, it's already a waste of time. And then now you got to waste more time to delete pictures.
Exactly. Yeah. And also another reason, I definitely agree with that reason. And also another one is that I remember, I mean, obviously we actually did end up as exes anyway. So I guess it didn't matter in the end. But I remember me and one of my previous girlfriends, when we had a bit of a break in the middle of our relationship, and when we stopped talking, she deleted everything and I didn't.
Awkward.
And then when we actually got back together like a month later, and she was so upset. She's like, I deleted everything, and I was like, well, I've still got it all. So like in my head, I kind of always remembered that, thinking like, oh, like I'll just leave it there, and like
in case this happens again.
In case they come crawling back like they always do.
Oh my gosh. All right, so welcome to Asia. And will we get to hear most of the other songs from this album plus 11 hours if we go to the live show?
So on this particular tour, I'm the stuff that isn't out yet, I'm not performing. I always think performing songs that aren't out yet is kind of like, it sounds like a cool concept, but you're basically kind of just playing people a song that they've never heard, and it's actually not that enjoyable.
True.
I feel like I'd rather wait until the album is out and then kind of do another tour, and hopefully, by then they've learned all the songs they like, and I'll definitely perform the new songs the next time I get to do a show.
Okay, great. Very, very so this gives you guys more reason to actually buy the album when it drops on June 9th, because it'll be fresh.
Exactly.
So May 27th here in Taipei at one of the most prestigious and long-standing performing venues in Taipei called Legacy. And of course, later on, we're going to Seoul. So Conor, thank you so much for making your way to Asia. We really love having you here. Everybody else, go listen to Storage and everything else that's already released. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I'm lying on